Alright, hey guys, John the Electron Man back with another video, and this time it's on the Trike build. This is my Trike. I already did a video, well, two videos previous to this, but neither one of them worked out too well. So, if you can, just give me some feedback and some input on it. I've actually put a lot of work into this. Give me some feedback, tell me what you think about it. It's something I kind of put together, and moving gear still in. What I refer to as moving gear. There's neutral and then what I also call true neutral, because it says neutral on the shifter, but it's really not, because it just locks rear end in place. Let's see. I'm going to try to get me and the Trike in the film. So, this is just another video, and this time I actually have a tripod. It's something I put together. It was an old broken camera tripod that I made a whole mount for, which is redneck as I'll get up. There ain't nothing wrong with redneck, in my opinion. A lot of people think there is. Well, some people, I shouldn't say a lot, but this is my Trike. I put it together. This used to be an old luggage cart. I took a hydrostatic lawnmower rear end and installed that. It's not really that heavy, but it will be when I get the engine put in it. Let's see. It's above my head. I need a reference just to tell if I'm in the shot. Yes, I'm definitely in the shot. Alright. So the difference, or the changes I've made since the last video I posted, is I was using a solid mechanical rear end. This is solid mechanical. Everything is connected through either a gear or a camshaft. And this one here is hydrostatic. The clutch that's installed in it uses it's called hydrostatic. What I assume hydrostatic is, actually more or less what I know hydrostatic is. I've watched a few videos on it. I should know by now. Anyhow, hydrostatic is where it's basically a clutch in this case. What it does is it rolls around hydraulic fluid, and once you get up to a high enough RPM, like say a couple hundred, it starts catching. It's building up pressure, and as it's building up pressure, it's pushing against the opposite side of the clutch. So what that does is it starts bending the gears all the way through the transmission, or transaxle in this case, and this is the shifter. So it starts transferring that, I think that's my mom's boyfriend, starts transferring the power from the hydrostatic clutch to the gearing in the rear end, and it goes through the transmission. It's dropped, either it's raised up or dropped through the shifter, or changed into a completely different gear from drive to neutral to reverse. And in this case, it's just, this right here is the opposite of what it normally is. Normally this is forward when you push it this direction, and this is reverse, but it's the opposite. It used to go through linkage, and now it's direct. So it's a direct shifter. I need to get more in frame. Anyhow, I put this together myself. That explains all the bad welds, but the fact that it holds me is pretty surprising. I took one of the old pedals and hooked up the brake linkage. So that means now I have brakes, and I got to put bracing going from the front of the transaxle to this cross member underneath the seat. So I used a chopper style bike frame, well, the front end of it, everything from behind the pedals, where the pedal bearings are, everything from behind there back, and then this thanks people with loud trucks. What can I say? I love loud trucks too, but it's just kind of aggravating when I'm trying to put on a video. Anyhow, and this was, I cut this off right at the mount for the seat. So, this whole front end's been bolted on. I basically put, this is similar to, at least the steering type is similar to a airplane yoke, which is one lever that controls the whole steering. Only instead of going to rudders on an airplane, which change the altitude and depending on which way you switch them, if you switch it this way, that takes you right. If you switch it this way, it takes you left, which in your perception it's vice versa. It's the opposite of what I'm saying, because I'm going from my perspective. Anyhow, I've got throttle on here, so I've got the throttle. I got to hook up the throttle on whenever I get the engine installed. So let's see. Very simple to move around, but it won't be once I get the engine installed, because that's going to weigh, well, probably close to 40, 50 pounds. Well, maybe a little more, but it's an aluminum block, so they don't weigh all that much. It's a lawnmower engine I'm putting on this. Keep that in mind. It's not that big. Alright. Let's see. Actually, in comparison, I've got one over here. I think this is it. Yep, that's it. So this right here is a lawnmower engine. Fairly basic, simple, referred to as a 4-stroke engine. And the reason I don't care about that one is it was full of water, locked up, the whole piston seized the inner part of the cylinder. And I don't feel like paying money for a lawnmower engine to get the cylinder honed out and the piston replaced. So I'm just going to go with a completely new one. Well, new used, but anyway, what had happened, dirt got inside the carburetor, and when it went into its intake stroke, basically once it tried to run, it sucked the gravel and dirt and everything down into the cylinder of the engine, scratched up the inner liner of the cylinder, locking up the piston, and allowing oil to escape from the crankcase, which is down, well, here. Alright. Two main domains. This part's the crankcase, down from here down. That's the crankcase. That's where all your gearing happens. That's where your governor is. The governor basically regulates the RPM of the engine, controlling the engine on its own. It's automatic. So I'm going to be removing that off the engine I put on this because it's going to have a variable throttle. So everything from here up is your cylinder head. That's where the piston and all the combustion takes place. It's basically what it does is it takes your fuel. This is basically an overly complicated regulator. That's what a carburetor is. It takes your air to fuel ratio, mixes it to the engine's specified needs, and I'm sitting on top of a post so it's wobbling everywhere. And it regulates it to the engine's specified needs. Then right here you have two valves. One for your intake, which is for the carb, this whole assembly here. So when you go into your intake stroke, that valve opens, allowing the air-fuel mixture into the cylinder while the cylinder's going down, or the piston's going down, sucking the air-fuel mixture in, and then that valve closes, and when it comes back around and starts compressing, it fires off the magneto, sending out probably a 6,000 volt spark, somewhere in there, I'm not 100% sure on that, igniting the air-fuel ratio, air-fuel mixture, and what it does is it explodes in a contained manner, shoving the piston back down, cycling the crank, so basically it makes it run through gas. Layman's terms, this thing puts gas into the cylinder, the top of the motor, explodes, pushes the piston down, and it just repeats that over and over again. And then the exhaust valve opens up on the opposite timing of the carb. So once intake stroke happens, combustion happens, then it goes on to its exhaust stroke. So what it does is, as the piston's coming around, that the exhaust valve opens, pushes out all the carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, and various other, probably 10-20% of gases, pushing them out of the engine. And that's not 100% sure. I'm just going with my guess of what percentage of excess gas is in there. And something they did, I think, around the late 80s, early 90s, is emission control. Do not like it. It dirties the inside of the head of the cylinder up quickly, in my opinion. Or at least engines would last longer if it didn't have emissions control. What it is down here in the crankcase, there's a rubber hose that comes off of a pipe fitting. I'll just call it that, because if I say the other name, people are going to laugh. Or I'll say it, nipple. So it takes those gases from the crankcase, puts them into the intake up here where the filter goes. So when it does that, it's sucking in the crankcase exhaust, so whatever gases it is, and it burns those off. So basically this right here is an 11 horse Briggs & Stratton. It was a good motor until it got dirt in it and ruined it, which made me very mad because that was a pretty good engine when it was running good. Anyway, it is now basically just a big hunk of junk. Anyway, off that topic, let's see, I probably wasted all my time. No? Okay, good. Anywho, I need to get a new engine for this, and from the going on from the Nerd Rage, that's also a pretty cool channel. If you look up Nerd Rage, if you're into chemical science and things like that, like using tritium gas, which is it's a fairly highly radioactive gas. You can use those to basically make glow sticks that last for 50 years. Although that's not something that's easily obtainable. I think you can buy tritium keychain vials. It's inside a resin that contains the gas. And what it does, it's a gas that reacts with the phosphor and makes it glow. Anyway, let's get off that. I'm already straying away from the main topic, which is the trike. As you can tell, I'm a big nerd. At school, I seem just like a boring fat kid that sits in the back of the school or in the back of the class. And I know I'm not the best at writing. When it comes to paper, I can't think very well. I can think of all these big words, but I don't know how to spell them. I don't know how to write them down. At least not easily. So, when it comes to speaking verbally, I could speak like this for hours and it drives people insane. Also drives me insane when I have to go through and edit out all the stuff that makes no sense or people just don't care about. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Oh, and this is the steering. That's going to be the throttle. That right there is going to be a horn. That's the brake. That's the seat. That's the trunk, which is a 3-phase motor controller, which has been repurposed into a trunk. And I'm a 210-pound fat kid, and it holds my weight very sturdy, so I'm happy with it. Hopefully I can get this thing running, and I'll take it to Rod Run with me, and if any of you guys show up there, you'll get to see it. Because, I mean, I ain't just going to invite random people over to my house and show it off, like, hey, look at this, look at what I built, this is what I built. Now I have video, I can start doing video evidence of me constructing it. If any of my grandparents was here, my parents was here, they would testify for me not telling a lie. I'm not lying here. I did build this, and you can tell by all the crappy welds. And there's Roscoe. Hey, boo-boo. Come here, buddy. Yeah. This is Roscoe. He's about 1.5 years old. Come here. Jump up. Come here. Come here, buddy. This is Roscoe. He's the family pooch. You get into skunk again. I smell it. You also smell kind of like coon. You been messing with a coon? Yeah, anyway. Coons smell like trash because they eat trash. Also have their own little designated smell, if you get what I mean. So, I'm probably going to be wrapping up the video here. 14 minutes and 40 seconds. I'm going to have to wrap it up here because YouTube don't like me editing or posting videos. This is John the Electro Man, and thanks guys for watching.